You want to talk about Iron Bowl comebacks? I'm going to go to the grave digger. Jalen Milroe to my Isaiah Bond in the corner. You want to Iron Bowl me? I Iron Bowl you.
Light it.
The Triple Option is presented by Wendy's. Join Team Tendies and enjoy a lineup like never before. Crispy, juicy Tendies now at Wendy's. Good evening and welcome to the Triple Option, coming your way live following the release of the season's third college football playoff rankings. Rob Stone, Deuce, Mark Ingram, the coach, Meyer here with you. As always, thanks for joining us. Remember to rate, subscribe at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us on social media at 3X Option Show. New episodes come every Wednesday on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. So a new one is coming tomorrow morning. A great interview with Heisman candidate Fernando Mendoza from Indiana. Elite interview, elite human being.
Mark, maybe best.
Hey, it's top two and it ain't two.
We're going to be reacting live Tuesday nights after the rankings drop. Don't forget, leave questions, leave comments, and we can answer them. So let's fire it up on any given Saturday. So last week, we saw minimal movement in the playoff rankings. Definitely not the case this week. Remember, 7 ranked teams, including 2 in the top 10, Bama and Texas, fell. Ole Miss, Texas A&M barely escaped with victories, and for the second week in a row, the top group of 6 team fell. That was the University of South Florida. Quick reminder before we unveil everything. 12 teams make the playoffs. The 5 highest-ranked conference champions, regardless of the conference, get that automatic bid. The top 4 seeds, regardless if they're a conference champion or not, will get a first-round bye. So let's take a look at the rankings on the screen right now, and we'll get our immediate reaction, and we show you the top 12. So BYU and Utah are the first and second teams out once we show you the bracket. You see Alabama now. They took a slide down 6 spots, Mark, to number 10. Notre Dame, again, at number 9. They're at 8-2. Feels like they might be at their ceiling. Oklahoma rises 3. Oregon up 1. They're 9-1. We're going to talk about the Ducks. They have a huge test with USC that rose this week to number 15. Ole Miss sitting there at number 6. Texas Tech now inside the top 5. Georgia, they move up a spot because of Alabama's loss. And 1, 2, and 3, Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M remains the same. Mark, I'll start with you, and we'll start with Alabama's slide down to number 10. How are you feeling about that position right now?
I mean, they deserve that. You go in and have 3 turnovers, botch, snap, hold, and kick. Yeah, when you lose a game like that and is very self-inflicted against a good Oklahoma defense who, obviously forced the turnovers, obviously you're going to slide and you're going to be behind the team you lost to. So 2 losses, it's fair for them to be in there. They're lucky they're not lower. They can still control their own destiny as far as the playoff goes, because you dropped to that 11-12 spot, now you're in trouble because obviously the group of 6 gets promoted. Big 12 champs going to be in there. So that 10 spot ultimately lets them control their own destiny still with this ranking that they gave them. So they deserve it, but they still got everything to play for ahead of them.
Still in position to get themselves back to the playoffs. Coach, what jumped out to you this week?
Every time I look at this, I just wish I was coached in this era. I look at some of the great teams I had that lost a game and they're out. And I'm looking, these teams are all still alive. I mean, there's got to be paths taken and all that, but great players are still playing. Fan bases are still engaged. I am all into the CFP era.
Coach, USC still in this thing.
Absolutely.
Very much so.
I'm going to tell you this, Mark. I think if they beat Oregon,
they're in there. They'll be in the top.
They're in, and I think Oregon might be out.
Yeah.
Because you look at they have no wins.
Yeah.
And this committee, here's what I'm going to say too, is I think we need to keep looking at reform, and I think CFP and the committee's doing great. This is not a shot. I loved when the Big Ten and Tony Petitti came up with that 4-4-2-2-1-1, where basically all the committee did was seed.
Yeah.
The Big Ten got a certain amount of teams and they were playing games. The SEC, the Big 12, you wish it would somehow equate it, but I just don't know how a committee, I'm looking at this and, I'm going to make a point on Big Noon that if I'm BYU, I'm probably going to lose, they got to beat Cincinnati. But if I'm the head coach, in my mind, I not only got to win, I got to win big.
Yeah.
You know, because the style points, there's people sitting in that room watching these scores that really can't watch the game because they really don't know what they're watching. I'm not being disrespectful, but they're going to look at a score and say, okay, not only win, but win with style points. That's why I'm hoping someday there's the play-in by conferences, and it's very simple. You play yourself into it. You're not relying on people making decisions on who's in, who's out. Decisions are made on the field.
The Big 12 is sitting there with 3 teams in the top 12. You know, BYU, they win. They get a rematch with Texas Tech. If they beat Texas Tech, both teams go. Like, and then Utah sitting there at 12. You know, the group of 6 isn't in this bracket. So one team is sliding out.
Yeah.
So
well, these are just the rankings. Let's show you the bracket right now. And the group of 6 team is Tulane sitting there at the top left. They are your 12 seed, and they are taking on, speaking of the Big 12, as of now, Texas Tech, your number 5 seed. But Mark, it's a great point because there's Texas Tech all the way up there at 5, and BYU has great value. Imagine if BYU wins the round 2, the head-to-head in the conference championship, which would mean
they both
BYU's going.
Yeah, they're both in.
And now Texas Tech is going to get in as well. That's a win. And even Utah, if things fall down, Utah can sneak in.
Keep that thought. First of all, BYU, I don't know if they can. We've seen. I think Texas Tech is one of the top teams in the country.
They got
think
straight
they're
hammered by
SEC caliber. They're real. I'm just saying, does a BYU loss in the Big 12 championship game? Do they get in? With their only quality win, their only quality win is Utah, which is a quality win.
Yeah. But then you say if they lose 2 times to Tech, does Utah jump them with 1 loss?
Utah might jump them, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. The ACC is intriguing. Again, Miami right now holding on to that number 11 spot in the bracket because they are the highest seeded ACC team. But remember,
the ACC champ is going to go, so they might get bumped.
It's a big stretch for Miami to even get to the ACC championship game. So now you're saying, can Miami keep moving up and somehow hold on to a spot regardless if the ACC champion is not them? And now we're talking, do 2 ACC teams get in? That's a big one. And again, Miami beat Notre Dame head-to-head. That Notre Dame head-to-head game is going to be massive. Notre Dame sitting there at the number 9 spot in the bracket. And with what they have left on their schedule, they're at their current ceiling. I don't know how they get any higher unless there's just full-on chaos ahead of them. But they're not going to earn their ticket higher. It's going to have to be somebody falling out.
But that's a good point, though. Like, Miami beat Notre Dame, and they're sitting there behind them in the rankings, you know? I think it's just the timing of the losses, you know what I mean? But everyone else, prior to this week, the head-to-heads were ahead of their people that they beat. Yeah. Alabama was ahead of Georgia. Georgia was ahead of Ole Miss. And Notre Dame was sitting there ahead of Miami, even though Miami won the head-to-head. So, still interesting, man. A lot of movement, man, that's going to be taking place here. But look how big that Alabama loss is, though. You go from having a first-round bye to having to go to Eugene, Oregon, to Austin. Like, every game matters. Every game counts. So
that's a big swing. I want to hit a topic here, Coach. I'm going to tee it up here. I know you want to talk about it. I'm looking at the top 25 teams. The SEC has 9 in the top 25, 5 in the top 10, 5 in the bracket. So as of now, 5 SEC teams are going. Yeah. Earlier in the season, we were saying how strong, how mighty the Big Ten was. This week, there are 6 Big Ten programs inside the top 25, 3 in the top 7, 3 in the bracket. It definitely is starting to feel like the SEC is separating itself from the Big Ten.
It is. They're back. Obviously, they got to go win the national title. But as far as strength and depth of conference, you know, it would hard to say even the last 2 years with Ohio State and the Wolverines winning the national championship, that top to bottom, certainly the top was won by the Big Ten. And I watch a lot of it. I watch it on TV, but I also flip it on my computer. It's different, Mark. The SEC's back as the top conference in college football. I look at Alabama's schedule, and I know I listen to you every week talk about them. It's every week, man.
It's every week.
I mean, it's every week. And there's somehow, how do you quantitatively, as a committee member, say what? And you're seeing teams that have played no one.
Right.
I shouldn't say no one, but relatively speaking to the SEC schedule.
Well, Coach, Ohio State, what do they have? A win over Texas. That's it.
Coach, we were just talking earlier. You're talking about Ohio State having a load management.
Yeah.
Like, imagine.
You think Coach DeBoer, let's get him on podcast and ask him about load management. He's going to say, what the F are you talking about? I'm trying to win a game.
Yeah.
Same with Ole Miss.
Yeah.
You know, let's talk to Lane Kiffin about load management. And he's
Hey,
going to
by
be
the way,
like,
Ohio State into Indiana, right? Sitting there on that collision course to the Big Ten championship game in a couple Saturdays in Indianapolis, 1-2. And again, they are in load management mode. Indiana's on a bye week. Again, we're going to talk to Fernando Mendoza on the triple option tomorrow. Ohio State, they have Rutgers at home. And then, of course, the game at Michigan the following Saturday. One program not listed here in the top 25, but a program that used to be in national title contention, Virginia Tech. The Hokies today making a big move. They filled their vacancy at head coach as they pulled former Penn State coach James Franklin down to Blacksburg. This news, Mark, had been coming. We had heard about it on Saturday, and they finally closed the deal here on Tuesday. You think this is a good move for both parties?
I think, go ahead, Coach.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mark.
No, you go ahead, Coach. You the coach.
Yeah. I don't think it's a good one. This is a great one.
Great one.
Yep.
I'm a James Franklin fan. I coached against him. You know, it's all well documented about the top of the food chain. He just couldn't quite get there, but a lot of people did. He's still a quality coach that won a high percentage of his games at a tough spot. I think it's a great. I wrote this down here, Mark, and I'll let you kind of run with it. But I have Dan Lanning, Ryan Day, Kirby Smart, Lincoln Riley, Sharon Moore, Venerables, Freeman. These are all the hot shot coordinators that got jobs. Back when I was a young coach, Mark, you had to go to the MAC.
Yeah.
You had to go to the smaller conferences and work your way up because that was very rare. I think Bob Stoops was one of the first ones to ever go from a coordinator to a blue blood. It just didn't happen. And then you have the old, you got Lane Kiffin, Sark, James Franklin, DeBoer, Signetti, Elko. I just was writing down, these are guys that have worked their way up.
Yeah.
They're established coaches. So, and I have friends that are assistant ADs and behind the scenes talking to them a little bit. That's a hell of a decision right now.
Yeah.
The hot shot coordinators at Oregon, 2 excellent coordinators. How about the hot shot coordinators at Indiana? What about Brian Hartline? Those guys normally would do what? They would go take a Bowling Green job, a Toledo job, a Memphis, a Houston, like Tom Herman did when he left Ohio State, and then Texas would go get them. Because of salaries, Mark, you're not going to the MAC anymore.
Right.
You're staying. You're gonna go from $2 million to $500,000. You can't do that to your family
with no stability.
So now an AD has to pull the string on a guy that he really doesn't know, and it's a complex world out there right now because of. Do you go with established guy that maybe, the fan base is like, why? There's a Manny Diaz who's a hell of a coach, but he failed at Miami. Do you take an Al Golden? He failed at Miami. Do you take it, or do you go get a young guy that, like, when they did, Coach Day, when they did that, Lincoln Riley, Kirby Smart, Lanning, and then of course Marcus Freeman. That worked out great. Do you take a young gun that without the experience, or do you go with the person that sat in the chair before?
Well, yeah, I think this was a great job for Virginia Tech, and shout out to, Coach James Franklin. We knew he would land on his feet quick, especially with all these job openings, but Virginia Tech is a place that's known to have a tradition, known to have a history. When I was growing up, Virginia Tech was like one of the premier places in college football, and so for them to get a guy who has been nothing but a winner, a guy who is a culture changer, a program changer, just kind of, ran out of juice in Penn State. It was kind of like a partner that they had to have, but at the end of the day, man, he's still a winner and a great coach and a great human being. I think he's a great asset for that program down there in Blacksburg, a program who's trying to get back to supremacy, not in college football, but also the ACC.
And guess what? Now they know what they're doing. Now they know what their path is, and now they can start recruiting, and now they can start pulling in players. And again, there's all these programs out there who don't have a head coach right now, and a lot of those dudes are ready to hit the portal and go, and you can start poaching and start building your team right now. And again, there's all these vacancies out there, guys, right now.
Who are they going to hire, Stone?
That's my point. Who are they going to hire? And I'm not saying there's not qualified people out there, but some of these programs, the LSUs, the Floridas, the Penn States, these are like career goals to get there, right? Like, this is open in my lifetime. That is amazing. And if the candidate is not there, and we have seen so much change in college football the last couple of years, it would not surprise me in the least if one of these programs, and I'm not saying it's going to be an LSU or Florida or some of these others, but if somebody out there just says, you know what? We don't have the guy or gal in line that we want right now. And we're going to kick that can down for another year, and we're going to sit and we're going to have somebody be an interim again? Because who knows? Who knows? But do you think? I know, Coach. Do you think Virginia Tech thought a James Franklin would be available this year? No chance. They thought they'd be watching him in December and January fight for a national title. So maybe a program out there is going to be like, you know what? Wide receiver coach, D coordinator, why don't you handle this for another year? Maybe you earn it. Maybe you get your stripes. And we sit and wait for something maybe that's better to fall into our lap.
It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be some more fire coaches getting hired too. A little shuffling of the, chess pieces.
Yeah, this was just a minor chip. I don't mean that I don't mean that to.
This only November 18th, Stone. We got a lot. It's about to get crazy, dog.
Coming up next on the Triple Option, Mark picks his Deuce Dawg of the week, and we sound off on the Heisman race.
Light it.
College football not feeling as juicy as it once did? Let me put you on to something that'll shake up your Saturday and every other day of the week, because now that Wendy's has crispy chicken tendies and a powerhouse lineup of new sauces, it's time you transferred to the hottest team in the league.
That's right, Rob. Team Tendies, Wendy's Tendies. They're making their undeniable rookie season one for the books. Enjoy first-string flavor from some five-star recruits. Rep your new favorite team everywhere you go, but make sure to cheer with your mouth closed.
Take it to the end zone of savory sauces like honey barbecue, creamy ranch, and the new Wendy's signature sauce to experience a total taste bud blitz of flavor. It's time to join a team that won't upset you with an upset. Taste the phenom that's gracing the gridiron with its juicy, crispy, and tendery tendencies. Don't fumble the bag. Commit to a team, Tendies, and call the most delicious plays in the playbook. All right, huddle up. Tendies on three. Tendies on three.
1, 2, 3. Tendies. Let's do this. No rehearsal. Wendy's Chicken Tendies now at participating U.S. Wendy's. The game of the week is Oregon hosting USC, a former Pac-12 matchup turned Big Ten game with major playoff implications, Coach.
Ducks and Trojans, two of the biggest brands in college football with a lot of talent at the quarterback position. Excited to see this one play out.
And there is nothing like our favorite college matchups, especially when you can make them even more epic with FanDuel. Right now, all customers on FanDuel can score a 50% profit boost for this week's big match on campus between Oregon and USC.
You can place a bet on the game, apply your profit boost, and enjoy boosted winnings when your bet hits. You get paid instantly when you win. Use your boost on bets like spreads, over-unders, team props, and so much more. Don't wait. Secure your chance to score a 50% profit boost for this week's big match on campus between Oregon and USC. Just visit FanDuel.com/triple option. That's FanDuel.com/triple option.
Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. We're counting down the days to one of the greatest clashes of the college football season, the Army-Navy game presented by USAA.
This year marks the 126th meeting of the Black Knights and Midshipmen, and both will be going all out in their quest for victory and the chance to sing second.
As a proud presenter, USAA knows this game is about so much more than football. It's a time for fans to come together, recognize the commitment, teamwork, and sacrifice our service members that make for our country.
And USAA, founded by a group of soldiers over 100 years ago, stands with the military community, taking care of those who served and their families with insurance and banking backed by award-winning service, wherever life takes you.
So whether you're rooting for Army or for Navy, USAA is proud to join you in honoring and celebrating one of the greatest rivalries in all of sports. Visit USAA.com to learn more. Welcome back to the Triple Option. Rob, Mark, Urban here with you. Time now for the Deuce Dog of the Week.
Coach, you're
1
gonna
week,
love this
Mark,
one.
we're going to get Coach to do the Dog of the Week sound effect. 1 week.
He
This
got
is
his
not the
headphones
week.
off. He don't even want to listen to the dog.
No, I know. He does.
Yeah, he got his headphones
You and I are
off.
the ones who enjoy the
he don't
dog
even wanna
sound
listen.
effects. All right, who's your Dog of the
That
Week?
hurt, that hurt your ears, Coach, or something?
I can't take it.
But you're going to want to hear this because my dog of the week is an RBeast, Ahmad Hardy, one of my favorite running backs of this whole college football season. He's been toting the rock. He went 25 carries, 300 yards, and 3 touchdowns. You know what that is, 12 yards of carry, Stoner. He had a 72-yard touchdown run, a 43-yard touchdown run, a 10-yard touchdown run. He can give it to you how you want it. You want him to run inside and break tackles, one of the best tackle breaker in the nation. Oh, you want him to hit a home run, 72 yards to the crib. Oh, you want him to be physical? You want him to be elusive? Yeah, he really is like that. You know I'm the RB guru, and I'm giving him his documents because he is a certified RBeast. And dog of the week, Ahmad Hardy.
Get
was
those
great.
documents notarized. There you go, Coach. That's what you got to match next week. All right. That was your fresh
great.
take of the week presented by Wendy's. Join Team Tendies and enjoy a lineup like never before. Crispy, juicy Tendies now at Wendy's. Time now to sound off. It's a great one this week. Texas Tech, they continue to roll towards the college football playoffs. Their head coach, Joey McGuire, one of our favorites here at the Triple Option, also trying to get one of his defensive players to New York for the Heisman ceremony. Here's Joey McGuire after last weekend's win.
It's incredible, you know, and everybody's talking about quarterbacks for Heisman, so we put him at quarterback today. He scored a touchdown. But right before that interception, I said, man, get the ball back. Let's get in the end zone so we can get 2 out. He got the ball back for me.
Listen, Coach isn't wrong, right, man? Get your star a little bonus limelight. And I think Joey, Coach, absolutely nailed it last weekend.
Yeah, right when I became a head coach, Josh Harris was my quarterback of Bowling Green, and I actually dove into the SID and said, what are we doing? You know, let's start selling this guy. Yeah, I had people say, is that the job of a head coach? You're damn right it is. Yeah. Those players play their ass off for you. They get everything they deserve. I've done to the point where I remember, I think it was JT, that we were playing the team that I knew we were going to beat bad, and I said to the coordinator, I said, throw it every down. You know, and he had like 5 touchdowns in the first half, and one was on the 1-yard line. And they were like, I'm listening to headset, and I hear a run play. I said, no, I told you to throw the ball. Why am I doing that? Because I think it's an obligation of the coach to fight for his players. And so I love that. And would you expect anything less from that guy?
No.
Joey, Coach McGuire, I mean, that guy's tremendous. You know,
Smart dude.
He's a former high school coach,
Yep.
which tells you about how he cares about his players. I love that guy. I love that program. I think they're doing great.
Man, I love that. I love that coach, and I love that baller right there, Jacob Rodriguez. He said, oh, it's a quarterback award? Well, let me line him up at the QB then.
I love that.
Let's get this boy some love. Let's get this boy some attention. And he deserves that attention because they are one of the best teams in the country, and they have one of the best defenses in the country. It's because they have the best defensive player in the country. So not only quarterbacks deserve love, running backs deserve love, receivers deserve love, and impact players, the best player in the country. That's who wins this award right here. Oh, I can't get it. Look. That award right there, Coach, best player in the country. That's who wins that award. Not the best quarterback. There's awards
If I was
that.
in charge of the Heisman, I'd invite 10 people every year. The 10
It's a lot of money,
getters.
Coach.
That is.
You bring in first class
go get
flight.
It's a lot of
Get
per
another
diem. A
sponsor.
lot of per diem in New
New
York.
York City, boss. Hey,
Go
I'm
get
just
a
saying,
sponsor.
man. I'm part of the Heisman Trust now. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's a lot of that.
I
It's
get
a
what
lot
you're
of money,
saying.
Coach.
I'd send all 10, man. It's too good of experience. I've been there probably 7
Yeah,
8 times with my
it's a
players.
tremendous
It's
experience,
incredible.
man. And
But Rodriguez deserves to be in New York in December. I think we all agree with that. And that little moment, that little flash created some conversation. Also, let's be honest, it helped bring more eyeballs to Texas Tech and their amazing story. Because, yes, there still are some people over there who are overlooking the Red Raiders. And Coach McGuire is doing his best to sell his players and sell his program. And I hope they get themselves into the college football playoffs. I think that would be a good thing for college football. You know what's a good thing for college football right now?
What?
Who is it? What do they chant in Bloomington?
Heisman-Do-Za. Heisman-Do-Za.
If you've never seen Urban Meyer excited during an interview, that's about to change. Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza. Listen, if you're an NFL head coach or NFL GM, listen up right now, because you're going to listen to Mendoza after this conversation. You're going to go, let's move up the draft board and let's get him. That's coming up next on the Triple Option presented by Wendy's.
And that's facts.
Welcome back to the Triple Option presented by Wendy's. Rob Stone, Mark Ingram, Urban Meyer. We are proud to be joined right now by the quarterback of number 2 Indiana Heisman candidate, Fernando Mendoza. I call him the nicest guy in college football. If you ever listen to his post-game interviews, pre-game interviews, always a smile. Like I can sense your mom is watching and saying, "That's my boy. He's doing good. He's doing
Hey,
good."
Rob.
I know, Coach. I know. Coach.
I don't call him that.
I know.
call
What
him
do you
the
call
assassin.
him, Coach?
He's a freaking baller, man.
Okay.
I don't care
No, you
about
know
that
what I
nice
call
guy
him?
stuff.
The smiling assassin.
You know what I call him? Because when we went to Indiana, they had the most fire name for my boy. They call him Heisman-Do-Za.
Yes, pretty good name.
Heisman-Do-Za.
What?
Yes, sir.
Listen, man, you know you hear that name and that chant during the game, right? You can't
for
deny
sure.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to deny it. The student section is loud. I hear them. And first of all, Mr. Stone, Coach Meyer, and Mr. Ingram, I appreciate you guys for having me on. Big fan of the show, and it's just a pleasure to be here.
I appreciate you.
Fernando,
brother.
I'm going to jump right into it because they have all this stuff about all this. Like, how do you feel about this? I don't care about how you feel. I care about your performance. I don't know you well, but I know you well. And I can't tell you the respect that the three of us have for you and your team, your coach, what you've done there. So let's dive right into the nasty, and that is you get sacked in a 2-minute drive. It's second down and 27. I'm watching this thing like a hawk. You run 151, if I remember right, no timeouts, and you got to go score a touchdown. And that's a whole different animal than like what Oregon had. So take us through. I'm going to break this into 2 segments. The first one is to get down to the 7-yard line. You ran the same play 3 times, the 4 vertical play. And I want you to focus on a couple things for the viewers and then listeners. First of all, how often did you practice that? And then what was your mindset? So again, I know I probably can imagine how many times, knowing your coach, knowing you, knowing your coordinator, how many times have you practiced that so you're in your mind, and then take us to your mindset, not when you scored, I'm going to cover that in a minute, but to get to the 7-yard line.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first off, like you mentioned, taking a sack, especially in 2-minute drives, is one of the commandments on what not to do. So that put us back. And if the analytical guys will say that cut our chances of in half, if not even worse. And that was totally on me. There's a little bit of miscommunication at that point. I thought that we needed to go ahead of the sticks. However, since we had a 151 left, we were actually ahead of the clock at that instance. So at that point, I should have taken the check down right there, a little influence route. I waited a little too long, got sacked. However, I think our offense was able to rally on a lot of good plays, especially 4 verticals like you talked about. Luckily, they called a couple coverages. They called cover 9, cover 2, and man-to-man against our 3 or 4 vertical plays. Yep. Luckily, they did not call cover 4 because that would have been kind of tough, and I would have had to try to come down on one of my boundary or field comebacks. But the first one they called was cover 9, and that is a coverage that they had a flat top of 5 DBs, the 2 middle safeties that come down and play the curl flat, kind of hook defenders out of a more elevated stance so they wouldn't be as low, so they can protect the pass and protect against 4 verticals. And then they would play a 3 high structure behind it. And I was able to look off the safety and be able to hit my boundary seam. I would say our default rules, especially in 4 verticals, is when it's tricky coverage or when you don't know exactly what the coverage is post snap, is to go field seam, boundary comeback, then down to the back. Usually because we have the back to the field, and against any 2 high coverage, the mic or the middle defender is usually going to relate to speed, which we usually have the field, and relate to number 3, which we have the field as well. So although in that instance I knew it was cover 9, I was able to, take the safety where I wanted to go. And in that instance, you don't really go anywhere. But
all right, second time it was a 2. What do you call the 2 high structure? 2?
Yeah, they put it kind of like their 2 joker structure where it's a little similar, and they have this middle safety who is really reading off the quarterback's eyes and really playing off that speed. And so we had speed of the field there. We had number 3 Omar Cooper Jr., who made the fantastic catch.
Yeah.
And so when I caught the ball, I looked over there and I saw his hips and eyes turn. So at that point, all I knew I needed to just beat that boundary curl defender and beat that boundary safety. And once I saw that safety go over the top to the outside receiver defending the whole shot, I just knew that I needed to put some arc and layer on it over that hook defender after that kind of like the hook curl defender in order to make that completion, because I knew the other guy, the Joker, had his hips to the speed.
I got
Fernando, do you see Coach's face right now? Hold on, look at your face,
this is like the
Coach
best
Meyer.
shit I've ever heard.
This is what I'm saying.
This is
Fernando. Look at his smile. This is as intense and happy
here
as
we
he's
go.
been in years.
Now you got matchup. Now they play one high man, and I think they brought backers. Talk to us about that.
One high man. They play matchups. Personally, we knew. I mean, Penn State's a great team. They have 5 and 4 stars across the board. I mean, they are a really talented team. Their field corner Harris was he's a stud. He's a stud, and not that another corner isn't, but we knew we liked the matchup on number 2 better than we liked the number 4. And my roommate Charlie Becker was 1-on-1 in the boundary, and although he wasn't the star leading receiver guy the entire year, that's his specialty. His specialty is jump balls, and so although he's a speed guy, he's running a lot of speed routes and one downfield. He is comfortable catching the ball with his hands like that. And so I knew that at that point, all I needed to do. Hey, I knew it was so close, especially the red zone, everything gets condensed. I knew just for a second, just have your eyes on the safety and just put it up there for him. And I knew that at that point, it'd either be a PI, that'd be great, a catch, which it wasn't fantastic, or an incomplete pass to the sideline. So at that point, hey, we have a lot of time on the clock. At that point, we're way ahead of the clock. I believe it was like 40 or 50 seconds around the 20-yard line, I believe, 20, 30-yard line. So at that point, I knew that we were good on time. So with those 3 scenarios on a first down, I knew that we were good.
All right, now I know you got 3 more hours to do this. All right, here we go. 7-yard line. This shit's unbelievable, Rob. 7-yard line. He dials up blitz 0, 3 snaps in a row. I think he went empty, then a tight end nub, and you hit was it Omar Cooper? Who made the catch?
Omar Cooper.
Cooper Jr., right?
For Cooper, yeah.
Omar Cooper.
So take us through the empty. They brought blitz 0. They hit you. The second one, they hit you again, and almost a pick.
Yeah.
And then the third one, Coop ran the same route. It was right to the goal post. So take us through those 3 blitz 0 plays, mindset. Go.
For sure. But I first want to give us, kind of like a shout out, but just my praise to defensive coordinator, Coach Jim Knowles. I mean, he really threw the kitchen sink at us, and he had a really good plan. And it was this close, like you said, it was this close to being a pick, and Penn State getting out of there and upsetting the number 2 team in the nation. And we're really, I'm feeling a lot differently about the game, and a lot of people, the Hoosier Nation, are feeling a lot differently about the game. But the first play, we saw us cover 0. We had bunch to the field, and we had what we called, well, I actually should probably say what it's called, but we had a concept where we had a corner route, a sit. Yeah, we had a corner route, a sit route, and a slant. Oh no, a corner, a flat, and kind of like a rub slant. Yeah. And we were taught that, hey, in that bunch, if they're playing in and out coverage, let's see if let's go and work that high load of the field, because we're going to outnumber them there. However, how they played a bunch, they played it really soft and man and just straight up blocked it. And so at that point, when I knew that they were soft, I was like, the corner route's probably going to not be too great. The flat route's not going to be great, but what's going to be great is the slant route coming into the vision, because not only do we have leverage on that, because he's playing outside leverage on the receiver, but also it's soft coverage, so it won't give the DB that much time. I just know that I can't lead the receiver too much, because when the DB sees that, he's going to try to get to that breaking point of the slant. He's going to try to Malcolm Butler that ball. So at that point, I got to put on the actual or Charlie so he can get the ball, get in 3 yards, or even better, break the tackle and score. And that ball got tipped by one of the blitzers, one of the cover 0 blitzers, because we're outnumbered in the box. And so that was a little bit disappointing. And so then we had to go to our second play. Our second play was the same play. It was essentially just 2 fades, or it was kind of like, a fade to the boundary, and it was a post route, or kind of like a through route and a spray post. And then the third play was, a through route and a go. But we were trying to get the same thing, and we knew against cover 0, we wanted that spray post.
Yeah.
I mean, not spray post, the through and like kind of like the beeline route, because we know we really like the matchup, especially Coop on a safety. And also, if we were trying to throw something like a quick out or a bubble, they played clamp coverage on that, and that would be kind of tough, especially to the field.
Yeah.
And
there you go, Rob.
Yeah.
That's ball right there.
Man.
Coach is happy, man.
Hey, that's real ball.
That's
like when
real
I'm
shit,
listening to
man.
you talk, man, I played with Drew Brees, the first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm hearing a lot of him, like just the knowledge of route concepts, the knowledge of coverages, the knowledge of knowing how to go through progressions, who's going to be your man beater, your zone beater, where your matchup winner is, where your check down is. When did you get to a point where you were so knowledgeable and detailed in your preparation and also your film review where you could be able to recite this stuff? Because if I'm an NFL draft scout right now, I'm watching this and I'm drooling at the mouth. So like, when did you know from your preparation, from your film review, that you would be so detailed and be able to know all this stuff like that?
Yeah. So it's funny enough they actually mentioned Drew Brees, because in New Orleans, I actually got my weekly process through a lineage of kind of Drew Brees. So Drew Brees has his weekly process where he's doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And he was playing with a guy named Chase Daniel, or he was friends with him. I don't know if he played with but he gave it to him. And Chase Daniel was with Justin Herbert at the LA Chargers. And at the LA Chargers, my quarterback coach now, Chandler Whitmer, was with them and was in that room. So what he did is he was at that point, I believe, the assistant quarterback coach. He took those notes, took that process, what they're doing, what Chase Daniel learned from Drew Brees, and what he was teaching Justin Herbert, so Justin Herbert can become the superstar that he is.
Right.
And when he got to Indiana, he's like, hey, this is how we're going to do things. This is what he's going to do Monday. You can do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then also how we're going to review our game plan and our game plan plays, so you're able to have that attention to detail in order to be ready for those moments, to be ready instead of, confused. And when the lights get bright, you're able to dim them a little bit and be like, all right, uncover them. Hey, I know what it's doing. This is what I looked on Tuesday. This is what I looked at on Wednesday. And so I think that's really helped my process a lot. And I'm still in a never-ending journey of learning.
Facts.
I still have a long way to go. There's still a lot of mistakes I've made throughout the season that I've learned from. There's other people's mistakes on film that I've learned from as well. And so I enjoy learning. I enjoy learning football, and it's what I like to do, and it's what I love to do. So at any point that I could always learn more about football is a great opportunity. Like for example, actually, me and my quarterback coach, Coach Meyer, we actually watched your 2-minute drill breakdown, and we loved it. We were just there in the office having a good time watching it. So
the 3 different what was it, tempo, fast, and chunks.
Yeah.
Did Coach
real quick,
did Coach get it right, Fernando?
Yeah, good coach. I mean, I'm a young player. I'm only 22 years old. I cannot criticize, the college football legend and just the overall coaching legend of Coach Meyer. I mean, he got it right. I mean, that's someone that, like we said, we watch the breakdowns to learn. So
how often did you practice that scenario?
So our defense is extremely, extremely touted and strong, especially with such a strong defensive coordinator and just strong personnel across the board. So Coach Signetti always made sure in practice, especially a lot of fall camp practice, to always end the day or most of the days with a 2-minute drill, with a 1-minute drill. And although he was an offensive guy, I love Coach Signetti to death. However, I think he gave a lot of advantage to the defense. So he always put us in not a great situation, or a situation that we had to, dig ourselves out of a hole. And I think that really prepped us for when we play Penn State, when it's loud, they're playing their song Mo Bamba, you're hearing it, the stadium's shaking, and we need to go down there after taking a sack and lead an 80 or 90-yard drive to go win the game.
Yeah.
You bring up Coach Signetti, a fascinating character in college football right now. Curious, we heard his post-game interview after the win and the comeback at Penn State. What was his message? What was his tone in the locker room?
Yeah. Coach Signetti is, I'm sure Mr. Ingram can relate. I mean, being from the Saban tree, I don't know if you're actually there with Signetti.
Yep. Coach Signetti actually recruited me. He was the first person I saw from the University of Alabama at my house. So I'm familiar with Coach Signetti very well.
I say that. He tells that story about you and then Julio Jones a lot. Yeah. So, which is great. But although we won, he's never satisfied. He's never satisfied. And, we were supposed to beat Penn State by more, but he said that he was proud of the team, the way that we battled, and this team has no quit, which is extremely important to have any team, because there's always going to be slip-ups, and any Power 4 team at this point can beat any other Power 4 team, especially in the role of NIL and how the college sports has balanced out. So we're never going to take a win for granted. However, he said, I'm proud of you guys. I love you guys now. However, when I watch the film on the plane home and we meet on a Monday, it's probably not going to be as pretty as we feel right now. But we got to keep on trudging, keep on working, and keep on getting better from this.
How much freedom do you get at the line of scrimmage at IU?
So
As
I
far
would say
as
our
getting
offensive
together in
staff,
the right play.
yeah, our offensive staff, Coach Shanahan, Coach Signetti, Coach Whitmer. I mean, there's so many, and Coach Bostad, the O-line coach, they do such a great job of detailing the scenarios that we can go through in different games, and just really kind of not even giving me full autonomy, but just giving the center and myself full autonomy. So me and the center and I, Pat Coogan, have a really, really good relationship. We watch film together. We talk about, the looks, the third down blitzes, the third down mix-ups, the normal down and distance blitzes, where they're doing the red zone. And so we're on the same page. And if there's anything ever in scouted, we'll kind of bounce off each other, and we both trust each other. So if he really is, indicative of something and he really sees it, then, hey, we'll roll with that. And vice versa. There's been a couple of times that if I'm really indicative on something, I'm like, hey, I see it, just because I'm standing up and he's in, his stance, we'll change the call to that. But I would say not only learning from our great coaches, but also learning from Coogan, who was in starting center in the national championship last year, has helped my knowledge on protections and just autonomy at the line exponentially.
Man, you from South Florida, man. You went out to Cal. Now you're a Hoosier. Indiana had a big year last year, obviously, in Coach Signetti's first year. You guys are number 2 in the country right now. And I can tell that you're a leader. I can tell that you guys believe in each other. I can tell that there's like this us against the world mentality. You guys can't be denied, right? When did you guys start believing as a group that this type of season could be possible for you all?
Yeah. So I would think that Coach Signetti he's always been a big believer and big instructor on not listening to the outside noise. So a lot of the outside noise was saying, hey, Indiana, hey, they're a great one-hit wonder. And a lot of the teams in the portal that I was getting recruited by, it was, hey, this is a safe bet. We've been a blue blood forever. Indiana, who knows what's going to happen next year, just because, especially college football, it's tough. It's tough. The blue bloods are the blue bloods for a reason. They have, the support. However, I really believe that Coach Signetti was going to be able to develop myself and the best Fernando Mendoza I can become. And I think that everybody else in the program believes that not only they're going to become the best version of themselves, but they're going to do that by believing in each other, by not really chasing their own stats or own fame or own glory. And I think that's our superpower. Our superpower is playing like a band of brothers together. We play together, and we're not really focused on individual statistics or prowess in that sense. And I think that's what's helped us and be so resilient throughout our games, whether it's number 3 Oregon coming back and leading the game-winning drive, whether it's Iowa in a super hostile environment, or whether it's Penn State. I think that us playing together and us being one unit, one heartbeat, one offense, one defense, one special teams all together has really not only struck the belief in us, but it's also that we're all so close off the field that we believe in each other. Wow. So I throw a pick against Oregon, number 3 Oregon, and it's a pick 6. Our defense only left 13 points against, Will Steins and Dante Moore's Oregon, and I give Oregon 7 more points. Our starting All-American linebacker, Aiden Fisher, comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, we're good. We believe in you. You're a guy."
Right.
And he's All-American captain on defense, and that is stemmed from being so close to all the defensive guys and offensive guys throughout the offseason, that we're able to believe in each other no matter what the circumstances.
I love it.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Fernando. Leadership style of Sig. So is he? He's a CEO, and he lets her coordinators do the work. And obviously, he's got an offensive background. Is it more that he coaches the coordinators and they coach you? Is that the kind of leadership style that your experience under Sig?
Yeah. So I would say that Signetti is an offensive guy. So I would say the defensive side, Coach Haynes, has a lot of autonomy. And from what I could see, obviously, I don't see everything that's behind the scenes, and I don't want to give a 100% clear-cut answer. But I would say that he works a lot with those offensive guys. And whenever I walk into Coach Signetti's office, all day, all night, he's always watching film. There's always, even when you're talking to him, he is watching film up there. I'm like, "What's up, Coach? We're talking about something." He's like, sometimes won't even take your won't even take the eyes to you. He's so locked in the film, which I appreciate as a quarterback because I want to be, prepared for the next game. I want to make sure that not only I know everything, but our head coach knows everything. And so he's in the offensive meetings every single day, coaching with our offensive coordinator. And I'm assuming coaching with our offensive coordinator in order to get the best game plan in that week.
Has he brought you over to his house? Do we know what the Signetti layout is back home?
So this summer we were able to go to his house it was like official visit season, and we were able to go to his house, a couple of our current players and a couple of recruits, and yeah, it's a great house. It's a basketball court, has a pool. A lot of guys are playing pool basketball, so it was a good time.
Does he have his own little film room down there? Secret lock and key?
I actually didn't ask to go inside the house, or if I went inside the house, I wasn't asking to go to, different rooms to get a house tour from him. I was just happy
It's a good decision.
At that point, I was like, I'm gonna save my brownie points where I have them, to get a play installed or something else in that nature. So I'm sure he does. He does.
You're talking about your continuing education in the sport and at that position. So here on the Triple Option, we like to hand it over to you. And you get a question to learn about college football and something to make you better or something that intrigues you about the three guys that have been talking to you for the last 20 plus minutes.
Wow. That's great. So let me ask you guys this before I ask a question. What's the best question you guys been asked?
The one you're about to ask.
Boom.
All right.
Sorry. Didn't give you much prep time, did I?
All right, first I'm gonna start with Mr. Ingram. Mr. Ingram, you played with Drew Brees. You played in the Saban tree. You've been through it all. You've been through, the highs of highs, the lows of lows with these phenomenal and Hall of Fame quarterbacks. If you could give me some piece of advice playing with Drew Brees and all the other great quarterbacks you've played with, what is some advice that may not be so mainstream that you would give to me?
They were just the guys. You know what I mean? When I played with Drew Brees, I played with Lamar Jackson. They were just guys. Like, they didn't feel like this untouchable object, or that you were scared to be around them, or you were scared to hang with them, or you're scared to go sit down with them and have lunch. Like, I'd be sitting here having lunch with Alvin Kamara, and Drew would just come plop right down right next to us. You know what I mean? And when you have your Hall of Fame quarterback coming just to sit and kick it with you, he's not just grabbing his lunch and going to the quarterback, the office, or into somewhere by himself or to the film room, which he did do that sometimes, but he would come and engulf himself and entrench himself with the guys. And when you have your quarterback, your star quarterback, being one of the guys, you can hang with them, you can reach out to him. That's like your brother, that's your family. Now, not only do you feel an obligation to do your job because you have to do your job, you feel an obligation to do your job because you never want to let that guy down, because that is your brother. That's someone you spend time with. You know his family. You know his kids. You know what he's going through other than just being quarterback one of the New Orleans Saints or the Baltimore Ravens. So I would say I definitely feel that energy from you, but I would say always just be involved with your teammates. You know what I mean? That's not really mainstream, but you already said how you guys are close, how Aiden Fisher came up to you and said what he said to you after you threw the interception, how you guys are close as offensive unit, defensive unit, special teams unit. That same camaraderie that, I had with Drew Brees, I knew I needed to know who my threats were in third and medium, third and long, because I didn't want to get him hit in the back of his head. Not only because it was my job, because that's my boy too. So I think being involved every single day, being entrenched with your brothers, man, I think that's huge. I think that's underrated.
Definitely. Love it.
Yes, sir.
And then, Coach Meyer, I'm actually going to ask you a two-part question. I'm going to take the opportunity to ask you a question and run with it here. First, I want to ask you a similar question to Mr. Ingram about what do you think separates the decent, good, and great quarterbacks in your career, as far as coaching these guys?
I've been lucky, starting with Josh Harris and then Alex Smith and Tebow and Chris Leak, and I even had Cam Newton for a few years. So the thing that makes, I think, and I would not separate quarterbacks from other positions. I think the quarterback has to have the same mentality as a middle linebacker. I think he's got the same mentality as a free safety. Obviously, that's leadership, but the best quarterbacks, the best coaches, the best everybody ever been around are the competitive nut jobs. I mean, where you play ping pong with them and you're in a street fight. They come to practice, and Tom Brady taught me this back and they won it back to back. I want to say 04, 05. Bill Belichick's a good friend. He invited me up. And think about this, Fernando. It was the last day of minicamp. Mark, you know what that means. Everybody's GTFO. They were ready to get the hell out of there. They had a 2-minute drill, Fernando. I'm watching Tom Brady. He just won 2 Super Bowls. He's playing, they're in shorts and a helmet. He's playing that 2-minute drill like he's going to go win the Super Bowl. He's ripping people's ass. I'm in amazement because I've been in NFL camps my whole life, and usually it's a circle. They just screw off. Yeah. And he wins. They score at the end, and Vrabel's on defense, and Brewski, and they throw a stick route or something for a touchdown. And I mean, he rips his helmet off. They won the Super Bowl. And what did I take from that? I give 2 shits what route they ran. It was the competitive atmosphere created not by Belichick, by Tom Brady. And that's the number one quality that I see with your team. You throw a nice bender route. Okay, I know a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
But your team is so competitive. And that's why I coached against that sucker sitting to your right there or left, Ingram. What made him a great player, a competitive nut job. So that's the number one quality all great players have, competitors.
And then my second question is a little kind of a debate that we have in the quarterback room. What is your favorite cover zero beater?
Oh, shit. Yeah.
or cover zero check. There's some guys in the quarterback room that say it's triple option, So
I love empty. I love empty.
I know it's the podcast name.
The triple option.
But
I like the 3x1. I like the 3x1 or 3x2. Drift to your 3-man and run the corner with the 2 hitches underneath. We used to call that cash. We would check the cash against cover zero, buy time, and lay it out there to the inside corner route.
We do full slide protection there and the quarterback drift over there, or how would that work?
Well, we had the no deep check from empty, so we turn the guy loose on our left, drift to your right, and throw it, and beat the free rush, beat the free heat with the corner route.
Hey, Fernando, before we let you go, we got to bring up the H word, right? Heisman. How have you elected to handle that noise? Are you embracing it? Are you throwing yourself into it? Are you trying to push it aside? How do we handle the Heisman in Bloomington?
Yeah, like you guys mentioned earlier in the podcast, I hear when the fans say Heisman-Do-Za. I would love to throw you guys and sit here and lie to you guys and have the perfect answer. Yeah, I have these earphones that, don't let me hear that. But it is great. And I really think the Heisman Award, you really see the finalists. I think all the finalists are on the top 4 teams in the nation. There's a reason that the quarterback is being nominated as a Heisman just because of the quarterback of a Heisman-like team. And so our team is so competitive and has had such a great season so far. And we got to keep on going. Need to have a strong finish, especially in this stretch of the season, last stretch of the season. But I think it's really just more about the team's performance and team success. And my big thing, and Coach Ignetti's big thing, is be in the present moment.
Yeah.
Whether it's on a game-winning drive, game-winning play, or it's even a bye week. Be in the present moment, because next week, all my focus right now is on Purdue.
Yeah.
And then if we beat Purdue, then we go to the Big Ten Championship. Then it'd be the Big Ten Championship. And then I want to get too ahead of myself, but then we'd be able to get into the dance. And so that's really all my focus on is, doing the most I could do to become the best Fernando Mendoza, quarterback and character that I can become today. And then at that point, all the other, great awards and all the other stuff that it'll all come. So my thing is to really just enjoy the present moment, be the best Fernando Mendoza that I can become in the present moment in order to maximize my opportunities.
Hey,
I'm sending all this to the scouts, man. This dude, hey, whenever you go to the combine, whether it's next year or the year after, they gonna love you, dog. They gonna love you.
They're gonna be spooning this down.
They are. Hey,
Fernando,
bro, we gotta talk about bro for 1 second before you leave.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
What's it like playing with bro, dog? Like, that's your dog. Y'all grew up together. Now y'all in the same quarterback room. He was at Indiana before, right? And then you chose to join him.
So when I came on the transport, I was able to learn about the good, the bad, and the ugly, because my bro's he's not gonna BS me.
Right.
He wants the best for his bro, and that's how I really knew that Indiana was a place for me. Seeing myself being 3 years in college and developing, and see how much he's developed in 1 year, I'm like, damn, this guy's damn near smarter at football IQ than me. And we lived on football IQ our entire lives, and he's my younger brother, so he's at kind of like a 2-year head start on me, and I want him to be better than me. Yeah. And so when I got here, he was helping with the playbook, helping with the locker room, and it was really a super smooth transition.
Yeah.
And being, not with him for those 3 years I was in college and then coming back here, it's amazing to see his development and his growth. I mean, in spring ball, to be completely honest with you guys, like in spring ball, this guy was kicking my ass. I was a little bit like a big brother, like, all right, I'm gonna even push myself even harder. And that's what we're doing, really pushing each other even harder, because whether it's, after summer lifts and we're doing an accuracy competition every single day with the receivers, rating the ball. Hey, who had a better ball on that one? Is it here? Is it here?
Yeah.
Like loser has to pay for lunch, or
Yeah.
just end up becoming an ego thing at that point with each other. But it's just us pushing each other in practice, us not only, push each other and being competitive, but also I'm able to go to the sideline and be like, hey, what do you see here?
Yeah.
And he's able to not only give me, I'm also get great coaching, but also it's also sometimes a little different coming from a player, coming from someone that's in the room, someone who has pads on as well.
Yeah.
That is so special. And I mean, I can't wait to see him to blossom into the player he's going to become. And it's such a special experience. And I know that evidently it's not going to last forever because, we're different ages, and he's an alpha and I'm an alpha as well. And he's going to become a quarterback one day. But I mean, it's just so special. And it's one of those moments I'm gonna look back at 6 years old, like, wow, that was cool.
What a blessing.
Right, but that was cool playing my
What a blessing. What a blessing.
Live in the moment, right?
Yes,
Live in
sir.
the moment, right?
Yes.
Take it all in. Fernando, man, thank you so much for joining us on your bye week.
Thank you.
Longest
Thank you.
interview in triple option history. And coach is mad that we're done because he's like, no, I got another 2 hours of X's and O's.
And one of my
Deuce and
favorite
Black.
interviews. And
For
my
sure.
top
For sure.
It might be my
Fernando
top interview. You know what I mean?
absolutely
Ever.
crushed it, man.
Much
Absolutely
respect,
crushed it.
And a
Fernando.
big fan
Much respect, man. Much respect.
I've been a fan, but now I'm a super fan. Now
Well,
we hope for you the best, dog.
definitely. Thank you guys so much for having me on. Coach Meyer would be, if I could take this opportunity, but Mr. Pulaski says hi. He's talked a lot of great things about you as well. So, I mean, I want to thank you guys so much for having me on. This has been a pleasure talking ball, just having a good time on the podcast with you guys. It's really been an honor, and hope to see you guys around.
Thank
Have
you.
a
got
great
it.
day, dude.
Fernando,
We'll see you in Indianapolis, bro.
Oh yeah. God bless.
Got to
God
get there
bless.
first. Got to get there first. Got to get by Purdue next week first. First things first, right, Fernando? I'm not jumping anything ahead of you. Fernando Mendoza, quarterback at Indiana. Thanks so much for joining us. Coming up next on the Triple Option, we go 3 and out, and we talk comebacks in college football.
Light it.
Support for the Triple Option comes from Google. Being a college football fan these days means you're part analyst, part GM, and part rules expert. The game is just so much more complex than it used to be, Coach.
1 minute you're trying to decode the X's and O's, the next you're debating the transfer portal. This is what college football fandom is all about, and AI mode in Google search is perfect for it. It's built to handle all those nuanced, complicated questions that go way beyond a simple stat.
You can ask it to do a deep dive on strategy, like break down how the spread offense compares to the pro style offense based on philosophy and pace. Or then you could pivot to more off the field elements and ask, what are the main reasons why there are more college football player transfers in recent years? You can even get real-time analysis, like asking, how have this year's college football rule changes impacted the season so far?
AI mode pulls all that info together for you. So whether you're wondering about a complex scheme, a new rule, or why your favorite team's roster looks so different every year, you can just ask Google. We welcome you back to the Triple Option. Rob, Mark, Urban here with you. We are presented by Wendy's, and it's time now for 3 and Out, brought to you by Google. We're going to take a look at what fans are searching for this week. Remember, no matter what question comes next, you can just ask Google. We have seen, guys, a 5,000% increase in searches asking about the biggest comebacks in college football history. So we're going to rank our top 3 comebacks of all time. Mark, you're up first.
Well, talking of biggest comebacks, why not start with one of the biggest comebacks ever in college football history? I remember this game. I was in high school. I'm a Michigan State guy. I bleed green. I'm Sparty. I had green bed sheets growing up. Father played there. Grandfather played there. Mom went to school there. So I'm Sparty all through and through. But Michigan State defeated Northwestern 41-38 on October 21st, 2006. They were down 38-3 with 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Scored 38 unanswered points, finishing it off with a pick six for one of the largest comebacks in college football history at Northwestern. Michigan State. This is when Northwestern was balling too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, it's when Michigan State was balling
yeah,
too.
exactly. So this is when people like, ooh, Michigan State, Northwestern. This is when both programs were back.
Yeah.
The tops in the Big Ten were in the upper echelon of the Big Ten supremacy. So I got to go with that one because, I love the Sparties. And then I got to go with the Stanford band play.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They were down. Last play of the game was a kickoff return. 5 laterals, turns into a touchdown. Stanford's band's on the field. Cal runs in, jumps, bomb, hits somebody with the trombone, shouty. Yeah, knocks him out, prematurely celebrating. So I got to go with that comeback. And finally, I got to go with the Alabama Crimson Tide.
I was waiting for it.
I got to go with the Alabama Crimson Tide in the Natty, down 13-0. They benched Jalen Hurts. He was 3 for 8 for 27 yards in the first half. And then
what a call. What a coaching call, by the way.
13-0 in the Natty. Jalen Hurts is 3 for 8 for 27 yards. And they bring Tua Tagovailoa in. And the young freshman, the lefty, brings us back to the promised land after a 16-yard sack in overtime. 2nd and 26, coach. Looks off the safety. Left side up the seam to Devontae Smith, who won the Heisman Trophy. Natty. I remember going stupid in my living room because because we did that. We did that. So them was 3 of the best comebacks. We know we love comebacks. I've been on the other side of some comebacks. But listen, them my 3. You choose your 3, but them mine.
All right, Coach, you're up next.
All right, I'm going to start in recent history, and we just had one of the guys I admire even more now, Mendoza. I'm putting I think that drive against Penn State at Penn State with all on the line goes down as one of the great. It's like people overlook. I'm going to say this. I've studied the Big Ten my entire life. That's one of the greatest drives in the history of college football. And I will fight anybody that says that's not true. That catch that kid made at the end, the detail that they coached it, I'm putting it. Why would you not? I think that's one of the great drives, and it happened in real time a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to also throw the 2017 and 18 Buckeyes. One at Penn State, but the first one is home, 2017. We were down 35-20, lost. We were down the entire game, came back and won 39-38. Our captain, J.T. Barrett, went 16 for 16 in the fourth quarter for the dub. We won 39-38. And then 18. How about this, Mark? We're down with under 8 minutes left by 12 points at State College. And as a jet engine, man, that's as loud as I've ever heard a stadium. And Dwayne Haskins, rest his soul, and J.K. Dobbins and K.J. Hill caught the swing route for the game winner. And Chase Young hit a TFL right at the end. So those are my 3 favorite. But once again, Mendoza, final drive. I'm saying that's one of the great drives I've ever seen, one of the great comebacks.
Soft tangent here. Our best out to J.K. Dobbins. Coach, you FaceTimed him the other day when all of us were in the car driving to the airport in Chicago, having left Wrigley Field. That was your guy,
J.K., that's my brother from another. Yeah, that's my rookie in Baltimore. Obviously, had a very productive
I think he said
career.
Liz Frank, right?
Huh?
Liz Frank. And he said that was the good news.
He said it was on
been a lot worse.
The best news of bad news.
That it could have been. Yeah.
The best news it could have been.
The best of the bad news. All right. So here's my 3 best comebacks in college football history. Mark, you're going to like this one. 2015, we're inside the big house. Michigan ready to ice a win over their little brother, Michigan State. Just kind of need to get off the punt. There's trouble with the snap. My boy Sean McDonough with a great call. Fumbled, scooped. State scores on the final play. Get that 27-23.
Yes. We love Sparty.
Walk-off win.
We love Sparty. Sparty make 2 of the comebacks.
Yeah, he did. Number 2, 2013, the prayer in Jordan Hare, Georgia up 1 late on Auburn. Remember 4th and 18 from the Tigers 27. Nick Marshall back, just like throws it into double coverage. 2 dogs literally have a chance to intercept it. Instead, it bounces off their hands into the paws of Ricardo Lewis. Game-winning 73-yard touchdown for Auburn. You're going to hate this one, Mark.
Kick 6.
You're going to hate it. Later that season, Iron Bowl.
Kick 6.
Yep, kick 6, my man. Auburn tied with Alabama. Coach Saban says, you know what? Let's go for it from 57 yards. Let's kick a field goal. Way short. Chris Davis just sitting there. Just sitting there like destined to grab it and be hanging out by the goalpost. Takes it, 109 yards down that left side. Kick 6. Auburn announcers lose it. Auburn gets the win, and you're tied. Get the loss, man.
Well, hey,
sorry.
I'm going to one-up you, and I'm going to do another comeback. You want to talk about Iron Bowl comebacks? I'm
Bonus
gonna
comeback.
go to the grave digger. We call it the grave digger, the Iron Bowl, 4th and 31. Jalen Milroe to my Isaiah Bond in the corner. You want to Iron Bowl me? I
Wow.
Iron Bowl you.
I see your Iron Bowl, and I throw an Iron
You
Bowl
Iron
back
Bowl
at
me?
you.
I Iron Bowl you, coach. We call it the grave digger.
Why the great?
Because it was 4th and 31, and we put him in a coffin, and we grave dug him. 4th and 31, back corner of the end zone. Isaiah Bond.
I triggered him. That's on me. That's on
You
me.
Iron Bowl
threw
me?
it.
I Iron
I
Bowl
did.
you.
I'm gonna Iron Bowl you right back.
Grave digger.
I knew that was. I knew
That's
I
some
knew the
funny
kick
shit
six was
right
going to
there.
get a reaction from Mark. I was waiting for it, and you,
Well
you
done.
You topped the anticipated reaction. Give us your thoughts on some of the great comebacks in college football history. Leave them in the comments section. It's time now, though, for 2-Minute Drill, brought to you by FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/triple option to download the app and take advantage of a 50% profit boost today. We're going to start in the SEC. Oh, folks, Oklahoma's back, apparently.
Man.
Sorry, Mark. Oklahoma is back. They are home this week. Missouri's in town. Sooners favored by 7.5. Over under 42.5. How do you see it?
I kind of like the under in this one, and I like Oklahoma to cover. Coming off of a huge win in Tuscaloosa, their defense, their special teams, they had 3 turnovers against Alabama. Now you got Missouri, who's struggled against top 25 opponents. They're 0-3 against ranked opponents this season. Yes, they do have the RBeast himself, who has certified documents from the RB guru. But one thing that Oklahoma is good at, one thing of many that they're good at on defense, is stopping the run. So I see this being a defensive struggle. I feel like Oklahoma will control the game. They will have to slow down Ahmad Hardy, but I like them to cover in this one, and I do like the under. I don't think it'll be a lot of points scored in this one, but Oklahoma, they have their playoff hopes alive. They can't lose another game. They're at home, have some momentum coming off of a big win. I think that this team will pick up where they left off last week and have another victory, and I think that they cover, and I do like the under as well.
Feels like Meyer is starting to return to that.
Oh, I'm
early
watching the
season
game.
Meyer.
I'm watching the game. I'm like, of course Meyer wants to freaking come back to form versus Alabama, right?
Right.
Of course he wants to
Maybe
look
next
good.
week versus Mizzou, please.
Yeah,
I hear you.
yeah. Like, of course he wants.
He's a fun player to watch.
He is.
I like him when he's healthy. All right, Coach, this is a Pac-12 showdown that's now in the Big Ten. USC at Oregon. This is going to be a fascinating game. Ducks favored by 10.5 now. Over under 58.5. USC, they have had so many issues under Lincoln Riley as a road underdog, but if they can get an upset, boy, that is totally going to change the face of next week's college football playoff rankings.
Yeah, you never bet against Vegas, man. I mean, there's a reason they have those big hotels and all that stuff in Vegas, because the bookies win. It started at 7.5, now it's 10.5. So there has to be something going on. Why? But I think even a 30,000 foot look at this, I think this is the most important game, certainly in Lincoln Riley's era, but maybe in the last decade of USC is an enigma to me. Well, how the hell can you not be good at USC? USC's got everything, the tradition, they got the school, they got everything, great talent. If they win this game, they are in the college football playoff. I'll say that. They'll go in. If they lose, they're obviously out. So this is a must-win by both teams. You're going to see, I can imagine these teams getting ready for this game. I think it's going to be electric. Obviously, it's at Autzen Stadium. With that said, damn, I'm looking at that. When it was 7.5, I was going to go Oregon. Mark, 10.5 is a lot of points.
10.5 is a lot of points, man.
Big number. Pittsburgh at Georgia Tech. Tech favored by 2.5, guys. Over under 61.5. You know where we're starting with this one, don't you? Coach Pat Narduzzi, right? Maybe spoke things into existence last week. He got his loss to Notre Dame. Now Pitt, they have their 2 ACC games to close the season, maybe earn themselves a conference championship game ticket. They are still alive. This one, though, in Atlanta, it's Georgia Tech, Yellow Jackets clinch an ACC title game berth should they get a win. And remember, they barely won last week at struggling Boston College. They were down 11 in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
Their head coach, Brent Key, I like how he handled it after the game. Didn't really stress about it, saying, hey, we're always happy to get a win no matter how the win occurs or who it's against. right? Especially this time of the season, sitting here in mid-November. Rambling Wreck, they have not won the ACC since 2009. Man, that's been a long run. You made so much Clemson and Florida State in there. I think they move on from last week's struggle bus. They return to their dominant self. They get the win. They cover. But I say take the under on that one. Coach is still dreaming about that Fernando Mendoza.
He had
interview.
a twinkle in his eye like never before.
Best. How about the way he answered the? My
right,
God,
Coach?
was
Coach,
that
you would
good.
love for that to be your quarterback, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean that they better be that way. I mean that's a well coached dude.
He's well
And I
coached.
underline dude.
On and off the field.
He's a
well
dude.
coached.
He's well coached, and he is individually chasing coaching. Like that's the thing. Like you could be well
Go
coached,
play
but
for
if
8
your player
years,
don't
10
want to be
years, and then go
coached,
coach.
it ain't gonna be much. But he is him, and he is Heisman
that-
Doza.
He was always here, Mark. He was always at a very high elite level. Listening to him and how composed he is and intelligent he is, he's over the screen.
I'm a big
now.
Fernando
See how
Mendoza
high
fan.
my hand is.
I'm a big Fernando Mendoza fan.
He was awesome. So huge thanks to Fernando Mendoza in Indiana making that interview happen. Make sure to follow, subscribe, rate us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. Remember, we're on social media. Please hit us up at 3X Option Show. Remember, leave those questions, leave those comments. We would love to answer them on the show. Make sure to join us next Tuesday night live around 8 p.m. Eastern as we react to the third college football playoff rankings of the season. And we've got another tailgate tour stop coming your way. If you're a fan of Texas and Arkansas, listen up. Friday the 21st. Head on over to the Victory Lap Bar, 6 p.m. Central. Epic tailgate. We've got food, drinks, giveaways, music, games, live episode of The Stampede with our guys, VY, Vince Young, and Coach Mac Brown. Special guest, Jamal Charles. We talked about that last week. For more information, go to tailgatetourtexas.rsvpify.com to RSVP. As always, thanks to our amazing sponsors, Wendy's. They're all behind us. FanDuel, you guys have been great. Google, we love those questions you throw at us every week. Enjoy the football this week, and we will see you again next week.